The second semi-final in the Dominic Smith Electrical Senior Football Championship is between St Anne's and county champions Shelmaliers. It's a long time since the club has gone back-to-back in the county championship, but Shelmaliers are strong favourites and they've looked impressive so far, Michael.
Yeah, look, they're the names on everyone's lips really at this stage, Peter, and after the last couple of weekends, I suppose I'm probably in a position to make a good judgment call on this, because we played the Anns last weekend and then we had the Shells the week before. The thing that surprised me with the Shells the week before, even though it was round 5 and both ourselves and the Shells were qualified, I couldn't get over the intensity they brought to that game. Normally you go out in a round 5 game where two teams are qualified and it's a glorified practice match, but they really went at it, and I think they caught our lads a bit by surprise. They were really aggressive in the tackle, and when they turned the ball over, they attacked that speed and they let you know they turned it over too. They weren't shy about making themselves heard. So look, very impressive. Like, if anything, I think they're after improving on last year, and they won the championship fairly handy last year. They've added lots been made of Owen O'Gara. They've added Tony Smith is back after 6 years away. And then you throw in a couple of minors. I see Keane Doyle came on, Robbie Delaney played in the first round, and there's probably another number of lads I haven't mentioned. They have a strong squad. They've used 25 or 6 players, and they're just, I suppose, a perfect storm for them with John Hegarty in the backroom team he has. So all things point to a Shells win, but sure, look, sport is funny, you never know.
And your thoughts on the Shelmaliers, Adrian? Obviously you played them in the county final last year. It was a close-ish game for long stages, but they're quite an impressive team.
Yeah, they are, and as Michael said, they're after getting better this year, and I've watched them a few times this year. I watched them Friday night there as well. There, just the intensity they move the ball at is it's unreal. They funnel lads back, they get you on a counter attack, and they just break at speed, and they have runners just running from every angle. Just see Brian's goal there the weekend. You could see it I was streaming it, and you could see just in the camera view, Simon Dooley made a run for maybe 60-70 yards. You could see him coming, gave the ball to Brian, tap it in, but they have runners from everywhere. And you can't pick out one player and say if you stop him, you stop the Shells. They have 7 or 8 players, 9 players, 10 players who are just going to cause you trouble all over the pitch. They're very impressive. They're getting better, it seems, as the champions goes along, and what's even worse, it looks like they have another 2 or 3 gears in him. They blitz you, maybe go 10-11 points ahead, and then they just hold the ball and they seem to stop. If they want to pick it up another gear, they probably can. So look, they're very impressive, and St Anne's will have their hands full trying to contain them.
Well, St Anne's then, obviously you played them a couple of weeks ago. What are your thoughts on St Anne's?
Look, what I said after the game to a few of our lads that that was a good win for us, because this St Anne's, I was very impressed. Probably the best team we've played this year. But just watching them yesterday or on Saturday against Glynn, they might possibly have a couple of injuries going into the game. I seen Lee Moore went off injured with a hamstring. He might be right, and Aidan Rashford, and you need your full contingency going in against the Shelmaliers. You need all your players available, and look, as I said, they are very impressive, but if they're missing those couple of players, well then it could be telling on them.
And your thoughts? You saw St Anne's obviously first hand yesterday, Michael. Your thoughts on St Anne's?
Yeah, sure, look, it's the Anns, and they'll probably get fed up hearing this usual adjectives to describe their performances, like battling, determination. They brought all of that to the table, and plenty of quality too. Sure, look, Sean Kelly is having a great year full forward. He's a handful, and when he gets the ball on that left foot, it's going over the bar. I agree with what Adrian says. Just when we were shaking hands at the end of the game, Liam Og looked in a lot of discomfort. Aidan Rashford didn't look to be moving freely. So if they're...
And the reason why they're such big losses for St Anne's is the speed at which they carry the ball forward and help set up attacks and stuff like that for them.
Oh, absolutely. Like, they were both having a serious game again. I think Liam Oka got 3 points from play till he had to go off, and the nature of the game, a point was nearly worth 2 or 3 points, if that makes any sense, because the scores were so hard come by. One player from the Anns I was impressed with was Owen Ryan midfield. Rowan White had been kind of doing a lot of damage for us, running from deep and breaking with pace, and Owen Ryan just sacrificed his game and checked his runs and didn't let him out of his sight. And very hard thing to man mark someone midfield. You think when you're out in the middle of the pitch, you'll get plenty of space, but I was impressed by him. He's lots of pace. If I was over the Anns and they've got some very shrewd men over him in Doc O'Connor and Red Barry, I'd be sitting down he'd be going on Owen Nolan now for me, because Owen Nolan is in the form of his life, and I'm not saying he'll stop him, but he'd do a good job on him. But the Annes, they've nothing to lose. I think it's their first semi-final since they won it in 14, so it's a free shot, and I'm sure they'll give it a lash. They're going to have to improve a lot from the performance last Saturday though, and I'm saying that as a Glynn lad who, we didn't perform to our best either. The quality maybe wasn't great in the match.
And Michael touched on a little bit of how St Anne's might go about this. If you were the manager of St Anne's, what way would you be setting up to try and beat the Shells? I know it's going to be a difficult task, but what way would you think they could be vulnerable?
If they have their full 15, I think that they wouldn't have to play a defensive brand, because they have plenty of good runners like Liam Og, Aidan Rashford, Justin Moore, and these lads, plenty of good fit lads, and I think they could take it to the Shells if they have the 15. But if they're missing those couple of bodies, I think they have to keep it as tight as they can. Shelmaliers will try blitz you early on, going for goals, so you need to try to keep it as tight as you can around the middle, hope to stifle them out. Castellan did it in the second half of their game a few weeks ago. They stifled Shells out. Shells only scored, I think they scored 1-7 after 18 minutes, and maybe got another point in the 60th minute. Tony Smith kicked one. So look, they can be stifled out, so I suppose the best thing Anne's probably do is keep it tight at the back, and maybe try to play a bit of a counter-attacking brand, and maybe hopefully keep it tight, and maybe nip a point win. But I think they can't be going hard at it or going gung-ho from the start. They have to just keep as tight as they can.
So who are you going for then?
If Liam Og and Aidan Rashford were playing, I would tip the Annes to cause a bit of a shock. But unfortunately, even if Liam Og is only missing, I think the Shells will probably just edge it out by a couple of points.
Michael?
Yeah, it's the Shells for me. And again, like Adrian says, if the Annes were at full strength, I think they'd really relish this. They bet them in the hurling semi-final last year, and they played the game with 14 men, and they tore into the Shells and very vocal on the line and let the Shells have it. But I just think without, Liam Og is their leader, I think if he's not playing and a few lads are carrying knocks, Liam Shockman didn't play against us either, I just think it's going to catch up on the Annes and the Shells will take them.
Yeah, I was going to mention as well the semi-final in the hurling, that the Shells were overwhelming favourites to win last year, and St Anne's did cause that shock, but I don't think they're going to cause a second shock. I think the Shelmaliers are going to win this one, and I think they'll probably win the championship, but we'll discuss that more next week. They mightn't be there yet, but I think they'll win this one.